All right, all right, all right. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Man, oh man, oh man. What a great time to be alive. What a great time to be alive. Uh, as these dark days approach. Oh man, I'm so glad that you talking about this, man. This shit is gonna be fantastic. There's this. All right. There's this. Yeah. So, as you see by the title here, Sony snitching continues to backfire. And as always, that means that the rage has come. Hey, what's up, Mo? Nothing much, man. Just doing a quick show. What's up, Tool Man? What's up, Tool Man? Yeah. So as you all know, in the battle, so Microsoft purchasing Activision has been the big news in gaming recently, and we all know that Sony um that Sony's been trying to fight it. They've literally said that they're trying to block it and everything in between. And, as the drama just continues to unfold, everything that's just kind of blown up in their face this week. And so I'm here to talk about it for a little while. I'm here to talk about it because I just find it so hilarious, right? I just find this so hilarious, basically. Shinzo Elite here said, I've always felt Sony would reap what it's sown. Look like it's about to start happening. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And what's funny is that they fought so hard that it's almost weird, Shinzo, because they fought so hard that now the U.S. government is turning their sights on them. So to add a little background, the U.S. government is now saying, "Hold on, Japan colludes with Sony. They allow Sony to pretty much break their antitrust laws against Microsoft in Japan. And in the statement, they did they now there's one thing that they're incorrect about. Sony and PlayStation does not have 90%, 90, what did they say, something like 98, 95% of the market. That did not include Nintendo or PC. So I do want to throw that out there. If you see anybody say that Sony has 98 or 95% of the Japanese market, that's not true. What is true though is that for years, decades now, Sony's been allowed to basically get away with some things, some, if you will, suspicious activity. As for example, as the article says here, PlayStation would reward um, publishers and developers for keeping games off Game Pass. And I wish I had my good friend Hebot here because he said that forever. He said that forever. He was called everything under the sun, right? He was called everything under the sun, and I just find it hilarious. It's just hilarious to me that that basically the tables have turned on them. The table have turned on them. That for all the talk. Oh, hey, Hebot, if you want to join, let me know, man. I'll send you a link real quick. I could shoot you a link real quick if you have some free time. But yeah, man. It's just isn't this just wonderful? And sorry, guys, you know how it is. Sometimes you gotta get everything in order. So during the trade talks, U.S. Senator calls out PlayStation's monopoly defending Xbox, and I think this is what made it hilarious to me is PlayStation are the one being called out for monopoly. It because how long since 2020 we've heard that Xbox was the quote unquote monopoly, and guys, for there to be a monopoly, you have to have 90% or more of that certain market. So no, we're not dealing with any monopolies here. All right, but it's just so funny how the tables have turned basically. And where's this man? All right, Hebot, I just sent you the link. So if you want to join, man, feel free to join. Let me get back to my screens here. All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so it's just funny that that PlayStation is now the ones being being accused of running a monopoly. Hey, Tool Man, thank you. Like I said, I did send you a link, so if you want to join, feel free to. Hey, Zinc, what's up, man? Hey, Zinc, isn't this hilarious, man? Isn't this hilarious? We've come full circle. So for over a year, we've heard Xbox is a monopoly, this, and that. But now, not only our U.S. senators calling out PlayStation's quote unquote monopoly, Microsoft wins the battle with Sony in the UK. So all that flying, all that snitching that Jim Ryan's done has been for nothing. Hey, Hebot, what's up, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, man, come and join me. So let's have some fun today, this afternoon, if you don't, because.
I guess I haven't been on Twitter enough today. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, isn't it funny, man? How 11 Congress members argue Sony is unfairly hurting Xbox in Japan. Now, everything I'm saying, by the way, you've said for years. So I first and foremost, let me give you full credit. Let me give you full credit because you said it for years. I'm not going to sit here try to steal any glory, trying to take credit for anything. I didn't innovative, man. But
I mean, I appreciate it, but I mean, like I always told you guys, I pointed it out because it was obvious, and it was a lot of rambling behind closed doors, and people are like, "Nah, that you're just a conspiracy theorist." I'm like, "Look, dude, it's just you put common sense together, you see what goes on. How are you gonna say that if Square Enix, for example, right, came out flat out and said, with no second thought, all of our exclusive deals that we've done with Sony, for example, have not paid off in any which way whatsoever, haven't made us no money, right?
Right.
But yet, they're still doing deals and not bringing games to Xbox. And what is Square Enix? A Japanese developer.
Right.
So that just doesn't make no sense. So the only logical way of thinking is that's because they got these guys in their bag to keep good relationships with them because they're very nationalistic, meaning they stick with their own nationality and their own kind. It's not rocket science, right?
Right.
As opposed to an American company, America's all about the big dollar, right? So if they make deals with anybody, China, they make deals with Europe, they make deals with Mexico, they don't give a shit. If you're making the money, they're gonna give you an opportunity.
Do business. And
right, because it's business, right?
Yeah, and let me point out this comment here, and I found this to be probably my favorite comment here. For example, Sony rewards game publishers for not distributing their games through Xbox, and it goes unpunished. And it goes unpunished due to Japanese Federal Trade Commission aggressively. Now, and let me ask you this: after reading that statement, after pretty much having everything you've said for years confirmed, does this? How does this feel exactly? That what you said for out there is proven fact, and not only that, what do you think that this means going forward? Now that we know that the reason games like Yakuza wasn't on Xbox forever was because Sony was rewarding Sega, for example, not putting in games. We know that now we can say definitively that the reason why a lot of those Japanese games weren't coming to Xbox before Phil literally had to pay for them to hit Xbox.
Right.
Now we know it's because of shady business practices.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, as a person that's been following the industry, that's been my hobby for so many years, for me saying it so many times, I feel happy that it's finally out. It makes me feel satisfied. It makes me feel justified. But I I also feel sad because this is a shame. Because if Sony was a company that didn't do this type of thing, we can actually have the three big, the big three, like so to say, right, so to speak,
Yeah.
and compete and just have fun on all sides, right? But no, they've done this since the very beginning with Nintendo, which not to rub off Nintendo, but Nintendo was the one who really started all this shady shit, right? Which people
Hmm.
try to give them a pass because they're so big, because they cater to children. And I always said I never liked that Nintendo played shade since the very beginning. They did it with
Right.
Sega, and then obviously they got the bigger market because of perception and stuff. And then finally Sega caught up with Genesis and had their time to shine, right? And
Right.
so, in the sense of being an actual gamer and a hobbyist of the gaming
Hey.
industry,
Uh huh.
yeah.
Yeah. You're butting there a
No, I
little.
was
He
just gonna
bot.
say how messed up it is to know. Oh, I'm sorry. It's because I'm driving home from work. Well, picking up my oldest daughter from work. So I apologize.
Oh,
Just
okay.
stick with me. If
Yeah.
I'm
No. No. No.
bot
You
or
good.
something,
You
I
good.
apologize. Anyway, all right. Thank you. So basically, it's how sad is that
Hey.
all
Hey. You
they have
botting real
they
bad. You botting real bad. He bot.
okay. It's raining too where I'm at. That's
Oh
another thing.
yeah. Ah.
So that's probably a reason. I
Oh, okay.
apologize. So how sad it is to know that all they've done is not played fair, and yet have gotten all
Hmm.
this accolade, has gotten all this well reception. All hey, you guys are Wondersoft, right? That
Mm-hmm.
since their early days in PC, in the late '80s, early '90s, right? They've been trying to edge their way into the gaming space respectfully, right? Doing it the right thing, trying to build relationships,
Right.
trying to be fair, trying to expose the smaller developers, right? Helping out developers that may not have the the money, right? Or the foundation to make their games and make it a reality. They started this long ago, right? Where
Hmm.
again, I tell people don't even realize that even Kojima's first Metal Gear game, like I said before so
Oh,
many
right.
times,
Right.
was on the MSX, which was a Microsoft computer console,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
And people think it was on the NES and that it was Sony that catered to him. No, he found the success he wanted or needed on Sony because that's when his game became big because Sony paid him off to make the Metal Gear in the 3D realm, and it was only on that console,
Right.
right? The PlayStation 1, which we all know the PlayStation 1 basically was by itself for a very long time. Because although the Sega Saturn was a very capable console with better software, to be honest,
Hmm.
people didn't support it because it was a little bit more expensive because Sega didn't have that little wedge to be able to take that loss, right? They didn't have the type of capital that Sony had.
Right.
And also, on top of that, the console was made where it was difficult to develop for because at that time, CD and pirating became a big thing. So their
Hmm.
fear was that they would start to pirate the games and developers would lose money, they lose money, and they couldn't make no money off the software, which is where you make the most money. So
Right.
they made it extremely difficult to really develop for. And finally, through the years, people got a hold of it, got a hang of the hardware, but it was too late.
Hmm.
At that point, they had no share in the market, so they basically liquidated everything and went away. So it was Sony for a very long time, just the PlayStation, all the time, all the time. And then we all know years later, finally the Nintendo 64 came out, but that was also very late in the cycle. And when it came out, it was extremely expensive for the cartridges because they stood with the old based cartridge format, which was, more labor work was involved. So they had to make these cartridges $100, $90, $70, which was extremely expensive compared to what PlayStation and Saturn were able to offer at 45 and maybe $50, right?
Right. Right.
Which also became a de facto. So the 64 did okay, but it wasn't out long enough to dethrone PlayStation. At that part, the market too high. You know, they had 120 plus consoles out there, and kept selling so much so that they arrogantly didn't want to make a PS2 right away. And again, ironically, Sega made the Dreamcast the most powerful console ever made with arcade hardware, did it extremely well. And then Peter Moore just recently also let out, I don't know if you saw the interview, that they started to fearmonger the developers, telling them that the Saturn hardware wasn't good enough to last a longer time, like with a longer life cycle. And so they ultimately convinced them to be like, okay, then we're going to stop development and bring games to your console, which was the PS2, when they saw that the Sega Dreamcast was doing so well. And that ended up hurting them. And a year and a half later, they had to stop making them and liquidated it as well. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, it feels good and satisfying. I'm glad because they getting basically now what they deserve, because they made their own bed. And now, all these years later, since they don't have the same capital to compete with Microsoft, basically they have to lay in their bed now, right?
Yeah.
Now they have no choice. Now they're getting a taste of their own medicine. So I don't feel sorry for them at all, any way, shape, or form. But it is sad to know that they were so dirty to do this, and people basically praised them instead of calling them out way back then. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I feel. But I'm not sad at all in any way, shape, or form to see them getting what they deserve now, because they've been bullying the people, the industry, and I said it. I said a long time ago that they mudsling their way into the industry. They didn't do it respectfully. They didn't respect Sega or Nintendo as the pioneers, and not even Atari for that matter. And
it's funny you say that because people kind of give Phil crap when he tries to respect the gaming world. You know, Phil to his credit said he trusts Sony more than he trusts China and Tencent, basically.
Right.
I respect that because Sony may be dirty, but at least it's not doing what the Chinese is trying to do. You know, and I'm not trying to make this political, viewers. You should hopefully you know what I mean.
It's not being political. It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Yeah. And
because Tencent has no gain or has no say in the gaming industry, meaning they don't know nothing about gaming.
Yeah, exactly.
But because they have money, they're buying all these developers out that are American, that are Western, European, whatever, just because they know they have the money so they can own them, but yet they don't know how to manage them, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You know, it pretty much.
And that's why Phil said that.
Yeah.
Phil said that because he knows Sony knows the industry and knows how to manage what they have, right? Just like Nintendo. That's why he said my real fear is with companies like Embracer or even Tencent, because they don't. They're just there bullying their way in with money, but don't give a shit about the industry. All they give a fuck is about ownership to control the market. So they can do whatever the fuck they want. And that's what he meant by that.
Yeah. And here's the thing, when it comes to gaming, as we see with entertainment in general, you do need people in some type of high position who cares about that entertainment form, in this case gaming. Having someone like Phil who's a gamer was one of the best moves Microsoft ever did. You know what I'm saying? And Don Matrick, he did, he did this thing for his time, but he was more of a business guy.
Right.
That guy that was ahead of Phil before Phil.
Well, the thing with Phil and Don is that
Terry Myerson. That's what
Terry Myerson, right? Don Matrix was willing to get the job done, make the money at whatever cost, but people didn't see it as him caring, right? They saw him as he's just a business dude, right? He's just the man with the money. And that's where the difference come in. When Phil came in, remember, Phil started at Microsoft.
Yep.
since he was 18. He was 18 years old, right? He was a fetus.
Yep.
He started at Microsoft, so he came in as a newbie, and then became a PC. And he was a PC gamer at that point because he said he grew up with PC gaming with his father, and learned the industry. And the whole time, he was the one that was running the division where the games came in. So because of Phil, he convinced Matrix to get games like Recore, Quantum Break, Rise, Loco Cycle, Crimson Dragon, Titanfall.
Yeah, remember he bought at the beginning of last generation. They said they spent $1 billion on new games for Xbox.
Yes, because he convinced Matrix, we can get all these games and it's going to help look good as a portfolio for the console, which it did, because a lot of people bought the Xbox and the first thing you heard was they got games. They got games. And I don't know what happened in between all that and the messaging of, it's only trying to concentrate on, which we all know that's bullshit now too. It's trying to be an entertainment box for movies instead of games, when that was a lie, because they showed the console what it was going to do, how they were going to unify it with entertainment like movies, because they wanted to unify gaming with movies to become another medium to expand the gaming world, which we all see now. Oh my God, Sony's amazing because of The Last of Us having so much accolades and praise, right?
Yeah, and now I saw that there is a Ghost of Tsushima movie apparently.
Yes, and the fucked up part about that, right? Here's the fucked up part. The Ghost of Tsushima director is good fucking directors. And the movie's probably going to be amazing because it's the same guys who did John Wick, right?
Oh, yeah.
Plus, they're also doing Streets of Rage, right? And that's the fucked up part, because they're going to get this credit because they have an inside pool, because they're in the movie division. They're able to convince these guys because they love swordplay, because they've been wanting to do Highlander for years. So they agree on doing Ghost of Tsushima, and now people are gonna be like, see, so the new narrative is gonna be, Sony, they know how to make product movies, unlike Microsoft, where they told Paramount to take Halo and they did whatever the fuck they wanted with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where it burns even more, because even in that standpoint, the bullshit is still there, and the perception bullshit is still there. When you go look at all these movie guys that all they know is movies, and all they know is to talk about movies, right? They're like, oh my God, Sony's doing great decisions. They're getting the same accolade they got in the video game space when it's bullshit.
They must have forgot that Uncharted movie flopped, and that started Tom Holland. they had the Spider-Man actor for that movie, and
Uncharted was horrible. Let's be real, it was horrible. It was horrible. They were hoping that because of Tom Holland being a big star, which it worked to a certain extent because it made some money, but the movie at the end of the day was horrible. But that's what they were really, what they were really like hoping. Yeah, we get Tom Holland as the main actor. We're gonna make this money, get Mark Wahlberg, and we'll see what happens. And it made money, but the movie is horrible. It's a horrible movie. It's garbage. So, and that's another thing that pisses me off, but this is what's happening, right? That's why I always said Phil is definitely the right guy, because he knows the industry. He's an actual gamer. But some of the decisions he made along the way, I wish he didn't, because he got kind of apprehensive and afraid, because he didn't want more bad slack, right? So he did it so he wouldn't get bad slack. But the idea of what they had with Xbox Movie Studios, I thought was fantastic, because they were going to do a Rise show, a Forza show. Right. I think it was a Quantum Break Connection show. All that good stuff. And then now, they shut it down. Remember, they had shut everything down because of that, because they were afraid of the backlash, and they just wanted to convince the people, well, no, we're about the games. And then you saw Sony made 2 seasons of that Power TV show they made for the PlayStation. Remember? It was called Power. They did 2 seasons of that. And nobody called it out. Oh, they're not about movies. They're about games. Yeah, okay, whatever. When the Xbox was the only console that launched with 12 titles, 14 after the first year, that were pretty much either exclusive or new IPs. Meanwhile, PlayStation only had 3 titles.
Yeah, they had, man, them
and a
first
bunch of
3 years
indies.
was dry.
Yeah, and a bunch of indies. Remember, they talked about Resogun for a whole
Yep.
year in IGN.
I still remember the article in 2015. It is genius that Sony's lineup was sparse, right?
Remember that? Yeah,
I
yeah. With Sean Layden,
remember that.
that's right. I remember that.
Yep. Hey, oh, speaking of Sean Layden, did you see the PlayStation fans? The PlayStation fans turned on him.
Look,
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it, man. That shit was hilarious. Yo, these
no.
dudes are losing their mind. Hey, before we close the day, we're going to do a segment on the crying man because you got to see this. You got to see these reactions. They are hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Man, but
and the thing is, you know what it is these guys don't get, what they don't get is that Sony, right? Mm-hmm. Sean Layden is no longer attached to them, right? Because he retired. Right. Or he moved on. I think he's working in another thing, somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Sean Layden, at the end of the day, is a man that knows business, right?
Yeah.
And definitely. They're all seeing the success that Phil is having with his new approach, right? With Game Pass, game services, cloud, which they all, you know, they were all probably also doubtful, just like a lot of us, just like me, you, E-Rock. We were all doubtful at first. We're like, wait, what? They're going to put their exclusive day in there? How the fuck does that work, right? Because we've never seen it before to that extent or that magnitude. Yeah. So it was normal for all of us to be like, I don't know about that. But ultimately, it proved to be the right decision. So because it proved the right decision, this is why now all these guys like Jack Trenton, Andrew House, Sean Layden, all those guys that used to work for Sony, all now like, yo, this is beautiful. Making gaming more accessible, more options, having the ability to get to other people in other countries that perhaps can't have consoles because they're too expensive to produce over there or to ship over, right? Like in China. They didn't have fucking consoles for like 15 years until the Xbox.
That's right. They did. Hey, you there, Hebot? Hey, chat, if you guys could hear me, please let me know. Hebot got cut off. I'm hoping that's nothing on my end either.
Right here. Do you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, and remember that was 15 years before they got a console over there, right? That's why the PC over there is so big, because they only have PCs, right?
Right.
And not only that, the fucking Xbox One was $800, my brother.
That's right.
$800. That is fucking crazy. So, you know, Phil saw this and he was like, look, if we want to captivate that audience again, or even get remotely close to gaining an audience over there again like that, right? Mm-hmm. We need to figure out a strategy. And I think that's where the cloud service came into mind. You know, the idea of having Game Pass where you could have it on your own phone, on their PCs, so they can all play on their PCs, don't have to worry about buying a console, and play every game on Xbox ecosystem on the PC. Because it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And this is why people are like, no, fuck you. And then that narrative of, that you hear people like that retard Ronan, which is Iron Wolf, by the way, where he's trying to say, all you need is a Switch, PlayStation, and a PC. Listen, brother, you only need a PC because Microsoft has allowed you to play in their ecosystem on PC. That's number one.
Hold on. Is he going to sit there and pretend that Sony ain't doing that now?
Right. No, well, you know, because they're going to say, but they don't release them day and date or use that bullshit.
Listen, the PS5 version of games are hitting PC faster and faster. It took,
and not only that, they play at better quality.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? At better quality, and yet these guys are still paying $500 for their console, right? It's not like Xbox that we pay $500, but we're getting high quality gaming, right? So you know, and not only that, let's be real, bro. nobody has to buy a PC to play games on Xbox no more because now that we have consoles like the Series S and X that are way more future proof, right? That have beautiful technologies like Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision HDR,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of teraflops and things of that nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means we can play games at just as high quality, equal, or if not better in some cases, a lot faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all under the same hardware. It's not
Yeah,
like PC that
and the thing, and here's the thing about PC gaming: a lot of them are not playing on the highest end graphics cards.
because
For
of
example,
that's what I'm trying to
uh,
get at.
yeah, my best friend's a PC gamer. All
Hmm.
right, and still 1080p. Don't do 4K. They're not going
Hmm.
to upgrade anytime soon. Perfectly happy with the setup, right?
Hmm.
And there are a lot of people who are like that, who don't see the
But
need.
a lot of the reason why they're like that is because it's expensive. Their
Yeah.
graphic card is $2,500. Let's be real.
Yep.
Okay. So my point that I was trying to point to him is you are not going to pay more money to play games at a high quality just so that it could be a little bit better with resolution, a little bit better with
Hmm.
frame rates or more consistent.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Outside of
pay
the enthusiast.
right. You're not going to aside from the super hardcore, you're not going to pay 3,500 or 33,000 for your computer to play those games that you so called hate. Because remember, the key word: all Xbox games suck. Remember that.
That's
You're not
right.
going to tell me. You're not going to tell me you're going to buy a $3,000 computer versus a $500 console because to play those games that so-called suck. Number one. Number two, on the console space, we have the option of trading. We have the trade up value option, meaning we could trade in all the old consoles we had, like the Xbox One X, and got $200 for it and only paid $300 for our Series X, like I did. And if you
Hmm.
bought the Series S, you only paid $100. You gonna tell me that's not a more valuable option or viable option?
Yeah. 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 Oh,
Get
definitely.
that horse shit, malarkey bullshit I play on PC out of my face.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. And Daya, hey Daya, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey Daya, thank you for joining us.
Hi,
Hey,
Hibat.
hey
How
Tuck,
are you?
thank you for joining as well, man. Hey, so Daya, I'm gonna pivot to you. I'm gonna pivot to you.
Okay.
I've been finding it hilarious, Daya, that Sony snitching continues to backfire, and
Mm-hmm.
you look at so Sony literally flew around the world trying to stop the merger, and now U.S. senators are calling PlayStation a monopoly. Now they're the ones saying that they're the ones who's breaking antitrust laws in Japan, and that
Mm-hmm.
regulators are turning a blind eye. You see the UK regulators are siding with Microsoft because of Sony's lame arguments. And
Mm-hmm.
I did see that you in the chat. I didn't get to the comments yet. Sorry about that, chat. I will get to y'all. But yeah, Day, I just want to get your thoughts on this. I think it's hilarious. For me personally, Day, this is comedy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see the tables turn. How the narratives that we heard for a long time, Day, has now turned back against them,
It
right?
has.
And that funny silence when they can't say nothing because we got the proof. We got the proof on screen right here. So what are your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on this, Day?
Well, first I want to say, Hibat, congratulations, because everything you said, I'm witnessing before my eyes. You have predicted this, and it's been glorious to watch this. Okay, because I've
I
said consistently since I met you guys
I
that
appreciate it very much. So it means a lot. But it
mhm,
was just to try to educate. That's all it was.
it was good because it did educate me because I got to understand what Sony. I had suspicions about things, but when you guys broke it down, brought out your evidence, I learned a lot from that. Okay, and so I always have said this, and Unlimited can attest to this,
Mm-hmm.
that I was always nervous about the gaming industry. I always felt that Sony was dangerous to it at this point. I didn't think that the practices that they did was healthy for it, and that if they continued to
Can you
be
guys
the
hear me?
market leader.
Oh, hey, Sega
Oh,
man.
I'm
Sorry to
sorry.
ut you off, Dad. Hey, Sega man, we could hear you.
Hmm.
Okay, just making sure. I'm sorry, Dia. Go ahead.
That's okay. That's okay.
Hey, can you hear me too?
Oh, Tuck,
Yes.
we could really hear you, man. You know damn well, Tuck, you the loudest person here.
But yeah, I just
Yeah.
I'm very I was always nervous about the direction that the industry was going because
Mhm.
the media and the fanatics, and I mean not just people who were just enjoying playing on a PlayStation. I'm talking about the people who are apologists who didn't care about what Sony was actually doing, making excuses for them. They didn't care about the health of the gaming industry, and I always wanted Sony to be exposed, and I wanted that information to get out there so that we can expose the people who actually do care about gaming and who don't, who just care about Sony as a company. And
Right.
this is getting
Yep.
exposed now. And I'm so happy in this, and I'm saddened that it took somebody outside of our own industry to point this out. It should never have been this congresswoman to do it. It should have been the FTC. It
Right.
should have been our own people to point this out and to rein them back in. We should not have allowed this. That's why I was also upset with what was happening over there in the UK. It was never a good idea to have Sony as a monopoly over there, because look at how they've abused it. And that's not to include what they've done to independent developers and how they've
Mhm.
used these people and stuff. And you know, it's only ever served them. It has not served gaming as a whole. When you have to pay money for cross-play tax just to play with a friend, they never cared about the gaming industry. And I stand by that. So what's happening to Sony now is a breath of fresh air for me, because I know that now maybe, just maybe, the gaming industry can finally air out its dirty laundry, clean up the mess that we have
And
with
be
them.
on the same playing field. Thank you, Dave.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and where
Exactly.
this is going to be most important, Daya, is
Mhm.
with the Japanese games. Because if there's one thing that I still hear people say is that Xbox needs Japanese game, needs to
Yeah.
do better with Japan and so on and so forth. However, how can you do better when the opposition whose home base is Japan,
Exactly.
who as we see in the article, the Japanese government turned a blind eye when Sony
Mhm.
rewarded game publishers for not distributing games on Xbox. How do you
Mhm.
fight against that exactly? Right?
Exactly.
If you
But
ask
think
me,
about this too, real quick. I want to add. Think
Mhm.
about this too.
Mhm.
Who's to say? Because you know how in Japan and even in China, just in Asian countries in general, they're very strict. They go and abide by certain rules and set ways of their culture. Who's to say that the reason why a lot of developers comply was because if they didn't, they would get in trouble with the government? You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
possible. I
Yeah.
mean,
Because
you
it's a
know,
point that could be there, but they're not going to say it, obviously, because this
Yeah.
is a national and it's a national and a cultural topic that is
Right.
private to them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hold that thought, Hebot,
Sure. I just wanted to say that.
I have a feeling in a few months you're going to be proven right again. Right, when we do a show, saying an article says, "Well, the Japanese government was afraid of being shunned for not helping Sony." So hold that thought. Interesting.
oh,
That
God.
the only reason why I'm not going to entertain it right now, Hebot, is because this is the unlimited truth, and I don't like to say anything.
Right. No, it's true because I'm like that too. I never,
Yeah.
that's why I said, who's to say?
Yeah,
Meaning,
exactly.
what if? Because we don't know that, but it's possible. But I'm not going to say that, that is exactly what it is because we don't, I don't like speaking unless I know it's a factual thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and I'm not doubting you. Trust me, I learned my lesson on doubting you. So
Right.
I ain't doubting you. It's just that. Let's wait until that next article hit in a few months. That's gonna expose exactly what you just said. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I do.
Imagine.
Was that?
I said, imagine. Oh my God, I'm going to win the HEBA Humanitarian Gaming Award or something. Nice.
Yeah. So I do want to get back to Daya though, because as I was saying, Daya, so exactly how when people said that now that we got this information,
Mhm.
how was Xbox supposed to fight against a company that's literally rewarding publishers not putting games on that console? You know what I'm saying? Now it seems like Microsoft has found a way, and that's right now is just pay for it on Game Pass. That's why we got Ni no Kuni 1 and 2 on Game Pass. That's why we had all the Yakuza games. That's why we had games that we were told we were never gonna see games like Ni no Kuni ever on Xbox. Yakuza. What's the other one Persona. That was another one.
Persona, yeah.
Yeah, Persona.
We were told we were never going to
Oh,
see that.
they swore to their life that we were never going to get Persona.
Yeah. That one hurt them deep.
You remember that?
Yeah, that one when that came.
Persona, you crazy? I was like, wow.
That one hurt them deep. But the point I am making here is that now that we have this information, this does add a new perspective, in my opinion, to the Xbox and Japanese games narrative, basically.
Mm-hmm. What I would say though is what I see is two things. You're right about Game Pass. This is a way to pay for access to these games. It's unfortunate that Microsoft has to pay above and beyond
Thank
really
you.
what these games are worth.
Thank you. Took the thoughts right out of my head.
But again,
exactly.
Microsoft is a company that's trying to give their customer base what they want, and so that's one half of it. The other half is they're letting the Square Enixes of the world suffer for the decisions that they're making, because if they cut off a portion of their fan base, because not everybody is on PlayStation. You know, this is something that people have to understand. There are Final Fantasy fans that's on Xbox, on Nintendo, on PC, and they just have cut themselves off. And this is why I don't believe Square Enix, unless they get acquired or something, is going to make it. I don't think they're going to make it. So this is a two-pronged approach. And I think that when you see both ends there, I think most Japanese companies see the writing on the wall. This is why I think that you have softening of some of the companies like, what was that company from Sega? Atlas. I think it was Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
I heard
Atlas.
that they were really resistant in the beginning. They're not so much now, because the truth is, I think a lot of these companies are starting to see, why are you turning down this money? Why are you doing? There's no justification to it.
They got fat checks from Xbox, and they're like, why did we ignore this for years?
Right.
What was the point of doing that? You know,
and then add on there that Game Pass, the games that come in Game Pass do so much better, even if they're older games. And so it shows them, why miss out on it. You tell me, is Sony worth that? So you can become another Square Enix, or possibly like Sega's smart. They're throwing everything they can in Game Pass, in my opinion. They made a partnership with Xbox, and look how well they're doing. Yep. So, you know,
to prove your point, Dea, Yakuza, the Yakuza series, after it hit Game Pass, and he could back me up here, Sega said that's the best the series has ever sold in its lifetime. After it hit Game Pass, that's how that's how much money that game made for them.
Right.
And now, you know, to move on to Sega man, you there?
I'm here, brother.
All right, hey Sega man. So we know for the last year, Sega man, we've heard it all. Xbox is a monopoly. Xbox is stealing game from us. Xbox is this. Xbox is that. And a while ago, Sega man, I came to the conclusion that Sony is like that guy that cheats on his girl and then accuses her of cheating. Right, because it turns out every single thing Sony's accused Xbox of, it turns out Sony's been doing it. It turns out Sony's the one who has a monopoly in Japan. They're the one who paid for games to be off Xbox. They're the one who took games away from Xbox and bought exclusivity. Everything that they cried about, Sega man. So I want to get your thoughts, man. What do you think about this? To me, it's comedy that somehow, some way, the new plot twist this week, Sega man, every single thing that we heard was Xbox is actually Sony's. You know, we're getting the skeletons out of Sony's closet, basically.
Really, man, it's always been the other way around. Unlimited, you know that, man. I think everybody on the panel knows that.
Yeah, but Sega man, I'll say this: there's a difference between. Yeah, we knew that, and we got physical evidence, proof that it's a thing.
Yes, we do. And just like you said, with Sega putting, Yakuza and their different type of games in the Game Pass, like you said, it's done very well, and they're gonna keep putting, I believe, stuff in Game Pass, man, because it's doing very well, and they're making money. You know what I mean? So right. It's I don't know, man. They just look after all this stuff, Unlimited with this Activision thing. People, I knew they were going to throw everything except the kitchen sink, bro. They're going to come up with all kind of stuff, man. Wait until a couple more months, Unlimited. Everybody on the panel, you'll see, man. It's gonna be crazy, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like the video that E-Rock made earlier was funny. That was funny, man. He said he had to do it. You know, he did it last night, I think at 12 a.m.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He
He
said
did it kind of
just
late.
he just had to do it, man. But me and you've been saying it. You know, people doubted it. Remember when we would be doing podcasts and they would say
Mm-hmm.
stuff like, "Well, if they get it," me and you were like, "No, they're
When?
gonna get it." Okay, there's no if. And people kept saying that. They said it in podcasts, and I was like, me and Unlimited were doing a podcast one time, Dia and Tuck, and we said, no, they're going to get it, man. There is no if.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. There's no if. It's going to happen, and nothing's going to stop it. You know what I mean? So, like I said, Unlimited, man, it's gonna get crazy, bro. It's gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
Sony always likes to flip the script and want to blame everybody else, but not blame themselves and their fan base. Their fan base wants to blame everybody else. Oh, it's Xbox's fault. Sometimes it's even Nintendo's fault, but they don't want to blame their own company for their own demise, and it's their own demise and their own destruction
Mm-hmm.
that's hidden to them, man. Definitely after this acquisition, they are in trouble, man. And if they want to keep, you know, denying it and being in denial, then shall be it.
Yeah.
But we
Hey,
all know on this panel it's going to happen.
right.
Can,
And
can
Sega.
you, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, you sound
I
clear.
was
Hey,
trying to talk to you, but you weren't hearing me. I guess I had bad connection.
uh-huh.
What I was trying to tell you, Unlimited, was what you told Dale was to bring up the article with Sega saying that all their games, especially Yakuza, have done better than they ever have before since they've been on Game Pass, and that's why Atlas has now got a different tone.
Yeah.
Because Atlas, they merged with Sega, but they were super apprehensive and only brought stuff out for PlayStation. Because Atlas still, the people that ran Atlas over there, they're still very, like I said, nationalistic, right?
Yep. It's on
And
screen now.
right, right there it is, right. And because I wanted you to cement what Dale was saying, because that is a shame that still, in order to get those games, Microsoft has to pay for them. I mean, they're doing whatever it takes to prove it, but it also proves a good thing because it's showing all these developers, hey, y'all missing out on the big dollars if y'all don't come over here. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? And I'm so sorry, Sega man. I did not mean to interrupt you. It was just that I was cut off and I wanted to bring that up.
That's okay.
I apologize, brother. Go ahead.
No problem.
Yeah. But hey, but Sega man, let me ask you this question, Sega man. Put yourself in Jim Ryan's shoes. What's your next move?
Oh man, my next move is probably going to be to get the hell out and retire, bro.
I didn't see that was coming. That's a good one.
You know, that'd be my next move. Let me get the hell out and retire. I got my
I
money.
mean, Jack Trenton did it way before. He's like, I'm out.
I mean,
I've
go
already
ahead.
got my money and I'm getting out of here, man.
That's
Get
what I'm
that,
saying,
man.
Tuck. I'd be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm getting out of here, man. There ain't anything else I can do. I made my money. It's time for me to retire, like Reggie Fils-Aimé. I'm getting the hell on out. That's what he should do, man. What else are they going? Because Unlimited, seriously. Now that this acquisition's gone through, Dia, he bought Tuck. What are they going to really do? Seriously, what are they going to do now? Seriously,
no-
I mean,
Well, the only thing I can see that they can do, they cannot compete because even if Microsoft disappeared tomorrow, which will not happen, they still have the Tencents, they still have the Embracers. They can't compete on that scale. You still have Apple looming out there, and you still have Google. They haven't gone anywhere. They're going to come back and restructure. That just let you know that's what they're doing. So they can't compete in that arena. They don't even have a presence in cloud. So I think that it's done. It's over for PlayStation. I'm not saying that as some fanboy rhetoric. It's the truth. It's over for PlayStation. That's why, look, if this one game was the way that they fueled their first parties, they were already in a lot of trouble. Okay.
Right.
So I think that
Yeah,
what Sony does, they have to try to become a Nintendo and carve out a little niche where they exist kind of off on their own. That's the only way I can see that they can make it as a console a provider and all that. Otherwise, they're going to become something like a publisher or something of just make games and sell it to whoever or something. I don't know, but they can't exist the way they are today. They will never ever again be the console leader, I guess, just in console. Okay, obviously they don't sell the most games in the world, like, period. We know that Nintendo does better than them, for instance, um but I think that I don't see them ever going into the spot that they were in before. I just don't see it. It's no stopping Microsoft.
And
It's
that
no stopping them. Look at
And at
what
this
they're going to
point,
be
no.
doing in 2023, you guys.
right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on. And before I move on to Tuck, I want to address Issa's comment here because he was spot on as well. Sony
Okay.
has exclusive translation clause that prevent Xbox in Japan from receiving Japanese translation in
Wow.
games until the game is fully available on PlayStation first.
Wow.
Yeah, little stuff like that
That's
is
right.
exactly, Issa, what the Japanese Federal Trade Commission turned their eye to. And let me
And
read
that
Joe.
is, and that is a damn shame.
Yeah, exactly, Tuck. And Joe Sinister here said this is all blown up in Sony's face, and it's their own fault. Had they simply
Yep.
let the deal go through, their skeletons might still be in the safety of in the closet. Yeah, yeah, and that's what makes it so funny, Joe. Is that Sony did? It's not like Microsoft put out some dirt or something. No, Sony were the one who were going to Brazil, Tuck. They're the one who are going to the UK, Tuck. They're the one who's going to the US, Tuck, and they're the ones who as a result. And I don't know what they expected, Tuck, if they just underestimated Microsoft lawyers or something. But I guess they thought that they're going to push their weight around like it's 1995, stop this deal, and everything will be status quo. But So Tuck Master, I want to get your thoughts, man. I want to get your thoughts. So Tuck, we've heard it for the last year how Xbox is a monopoly. Xbox is taking games away and everything in between. So I want to get your thoughts, Tuck. What are your thoughts on this now role reversal, if you will, where it turns out no, Sony's the one who has at least monopolistic practices in Japan. They're the one who takes games away. They're the one who did all the dirty, if you will, the dirty moves they accuse Xbox of.
Well, man, listen here, man. This is what this boiled down to, okay? And I'm gonna put it like this, okay? And y'all might agree, y'all might disagree. This is why Square Enix is in the position that they're in right now too. Look what everything they didn't sold. They didn't sold because of the fact if they would have, they even said themselves that they're not making no money by doing these deals with Sony. They're not making no money. They already said that themselves. That's the reason why Forspoken didn't do no doggone good. We know what they're gonna do no good either way it go. But when it comes down to it, Sony had to monopolize all that stuff to put that game on their platform, and they did not buy the game at all. They did not buy Forspoken at all, and Square Enix even said themselves. And I'm just saying, like, if they had put that on the Game Pass, they probably would have made some money.
Right.
That's what it boils down to. And Sony is getting their diligence. They're getting everything to them. And that's just the right way. I'm glad to see what's going on with Sony now. They open up your mouth. They open up their mouths. They open up a cat that they can't close no more. Everybody's gonna be on their behinds. So when it comes down to it, and I don't want to say, now you hear people saying, well, Sony can go ahead and buy Square Enix. What can they buy it for? They don't have nothing to really. They don't have nothing to really go by no more.
They don't have the money.
Just Final Fantasy, and that's it.
It's not just about money. It's you just don't absorb any old company. That's something Xbox doesn't do. They look at what company is a good fit. They look at how Sony will have to have a vision. Like, and are we doing this for the PS Plus? And if we are, what are we shoring up in our service that we need to grow in? That's they can't. Square Enix really doesn't offer anything different than what they've always offered. They would need something else that would make a bigger impact, in my opinion. It would be a waste of money. They already have Square Enix. Why pay money for them? So I wouldn't do it. If I was Sony, I would look for another company. It's not a simple matter of just buy them up. Nobody wants them. Even Tencent has a run for that company. I just think that they're a mess right now. And I think they have a lot more problems. They need to look at possibly shoring up PS Plus. And no, throwing their games in there day and day is not going to put them on equal footing with Game Pass.
No,
not by
not.
a long
I
shot.
agree.
So I'm tired of people saying that. No,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
it's a step, but it's far more that Microsoft did building up and leading up to this that they put in place that makes Game Pass successful and profitable. Okay, it's profitable. Yes, it is. So that
No,
they
Dan,
have
that's
to
not
do a
what I
lot
mean.
more
What
than
I'm
that.
saying is, Dave, what I'm saying is this: is
Mhm.
that you look at this. I mean, Square Enix Square Enix had good games. They had
Yeah,
good games. They sold
yeah.
all them games to 10 cents. So what do they have to offer? I mean, like you said, Sony don't have to buy the company.
No.
But at this point in time, with everything that's going out on them, they might just gonna have to do something. But can they do it?
If they did,
Can they afford Square Enix?
if they did buy them, they would have to push Square to do different type of games too. They can't just make a game that takes 6 to 10 years to make. It's not,
Yeah.
you can't feed a service like PS Plus that way. You have to look at, so they might have to break their studios up, do smaller games like single A, double A game. People laugh at Pentiment, but guess what? It was critically acclaimed. Okay, it's a single A game that was
Oh, did
critically acclaimed.
you brought up Pentiment, right?
But
Yes,
can they do it for them though? I don't even
that's a
think.
good
I don't even
question.
think. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't think Sony got the money to turn around and give Square Enix to turn around and do games.
Right, and it takes money,
I
and
mean,
it takes.
I think it's getting that bad for them. I mean, they already said themselves they couldn't compete, and they're not going to be able to compete.
It
Period.
already is that bad for them.
It's already that bad. So if it's that bad for them now, wait until all this stuff really goes down and all that stuff. And like me and Sega Man. I mean, Sega Man has said already. He said, Miguel, I think their pride is in stake, and I don't think they're going to sign that deal. I said, dude, they'd be a fool if they don't sign that deal. And another thing too, and their fans need to turn around and get on them right now. They loyal Pony fans need to get on Sony and let Sony know that sign the deal and be done with it. If they don't,
Yeah, I agree.
they're going to be irrelevant. They're not going to be there because
They'll get the game, but the position that Sony would be in would be detrimental to be in a position where they're the only company without a 10-year deal. That means that Microsoft can decide anything with that company. It's stupid. You know, they should be doing it now, but you know what? They can't negotiate now. It's too late. Nobody's listening to them.
But like Sega Man said, they pride in stake, man. Those Japanese people, they got pride, man. I mean, they pride might be breaking them down. But the thing about it is, if they don't, like you said, and I think the deal is still there. I think it's gonna be hard for them to negotiate with it. But
Right.
I think it's gonna be hard for them to negotiate with it, but I think it's still up there if they want to take it. Because
President of Microsoft Brad Smith carries that contract in him around.
right. So
he's just waiting for Sony to make that call. That's all.
Right.
Hey, Unlimited. Take
what's up?
Take that
Microsoft not gonna pay. I'll put it this: Microsoft not gonna make that call. Sony's gonna have to make that call.
Hey, hold on, Tuck. Hold on. See, this is what I mean by Tuck is louder than everybody. What is that, Sega Man?
Tell them to take that pride with them. Get that pride, right? You know, lace your bootstraps up. Get them tote bags and get the hell out. Just pack up. It's over. You know what I mean? Strap yourself up on your bootstraps. Grab them bags and get the packing, because it's over, man. They had so many chances, guys. They had so many chances to play right, and they didn't want to do it. Now look where they're at, Unlimited. Now look where they're at, Dia.
Sega Man, they were apparently on top of the gaming market for 20 years. How are you on top of for 20 years, and yet you let Microsoft bully you in 3?
Yeah.
They're apparently the greatest selling consoles ever. The PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 4 breaking records, and yet what did that amount to, Sega Man? Nothing. Because the moment Microsoft let Phil open the checkbook, boom, Bethesda, boom, Activision, and with that they're done.
Well, you in Unlimited, when you know what the honest when Sony got really scared, guys, when Sony got really scared was back in the OG days when Xbox first debuted their first consoles. When they got scared,
Yeah, they did.
When they first revealed the OG Papa Xbox, that's when they got scared, bro. It started way back then, even. Now look where they're at today, now, man. You know what I mean? They were scared then because they didn't know what Microsoft was going to to do. Everybody was saying, "Why is Microsoft getting in the console business? Why is Microsoft making a console? What the hell are they doing?" Everybody was panicking because Microsoft wanted to make a video game console, and Sony was scared back then. They were scared to death about what Microsoft was going to do. And Bill Gates doesn't even like Sony. Did y'all know that? He don't like Sony.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I remember from that document they did. That's what got that's what got them to approve creating Xbox. They're like, well, what about Sony? So Bill Gates sat up in his chair like, what about fucking Sony? Yeah, man.
I mean, man, once E-Rock did that, because I think he did that because I was on my way to work last night when he did it, and I'm like, man, that's like, damn. And I just stood there and just listened to the whole doggone thing when I was in the truck, man. I was like, wow.
Yeah, so I listened to it too. I wasn't home though. Day. Yeah.
And I am so damn glad. I'm just so glad to see that, that the people's not, they just not letting Sony get away with this crap. They actually ass.
Yeah, that's what surprised me too, man. Tuck, is that they're calling out Japan, they're calling out Sony. Yeah. This is stuff that seemed like it would have never happened. It seemed like Sony would constantly get away with murder, right? If Microsoft, Microsoft pays for exclusivity, like with Rise of the Tomb Raider. Oh, this is terrible. You're taking games away from us. Sony has a 25, near 30-year history of paying for games off other platforms. It's just business, So for them to finally get called out, Tuck, that is pretty amazing to me as well. But let me get to some comments here. Radiance 96 said, "Sup guys? Sony fucked around and found out. Remember last month, Satya Nadella said that they should look into what Sony is doing in Japan."
I'm tempted to say something there.
No, go ahead, Dan.
Good.
It's not hard evidence, but I'm thinking like this could lead into. I know that Microsoft wants to purchase a publisher over there, and with the sentiment turning against Sony as it is, this will be the best time ever. So for those of you who always wanted Microsoft to look at a Sega or whoever else they might want to look over there, this might be that opportunity that's opening up for them. Because what is Japan going to do?
Yeah, I never think about that.
They will bend over backwards right now because they want trade with America. Any country in the world wants trade with America.
Yeah.
So they don't want to be on bad terms with that. So, and this is bad. What they pointed out here with Sony is pretty darn bad. So I'm thinking if Microsoft pulls the trigger and tries to get a publisher over there, and if it seems like they're running up a hill, and America now is looking at that, I think Japan just might make it that much easier for Microsoft to make their purchase of a publisher over there. They just might do that. So this could be the beginnings of just the very beginnings of that happening. You never know. I can't say that with certainty, but I just, think of it like a little spidey sense or something. Like I think that could be like the very beginnings of that, leading to something great,
Oh, definitely. Well, listen, how many times has Phil traveled to Japan, worked on business relationships with Japan? So I would not be, hell, we just had a Japanese game on Xbox in January called Hi-Fi Rush.
That
was made by our Japanese studio, Tango Gameworks. Yep. So Japan and Xbox, they're getting more and more synonymous with each other. So Microsoft has been creeping on Sony's home turf for a while now, and it's not looking good.
What else is looking good either? Check it out, y'all. They better go ahead and just, we already know that the VR is about crap. Okay, people are not even talking about it no more. Yeah. So it's like you said, Unlimited. They ain't talking about that crap. I mean, that crap is done. It's done, over with, and that's gonna cost them another $1 billion. It's gonna cost them another $1 million because of how bad it's doing. So their business practice really is screwed up. Yeah. So are they going to bring back the handheld now? Is that what they're going to have to do? I mean,
they should. They can't be invested in failed markets. They failed. They failed with the PS Vita sold less than the PSP.
Yeah.
So let's not sit here and pretend that their handhelds lit the world on fire. They were getting dominated by the DS and 3DS at the time.
Yeah,
they were.
Yeah, and it wasn't even close, right? So going back to the handheld market, Tuck, that's not smart either. You know, like Daya probably had the best solution. Daya or Sega Man, either Jim Ryan needs to go ahead and retire before the sinks, before the ship sinks, and let whoever takes over him get the blame. Let that be their legacy, or become a niche console, basically.
Yeah, niche console.
Just focus on the diehard 10 million people who buy Spider-Man and God of War and all that stuff. The 10%, if you will. Right?
Yeah.
Or just like a software publisher or something.
I know one thing that is for sure. They already said that Jim Ryan already said that they would come out with games, day in, day out like they used to, and this is gonna be a killer because Call of Duty is not their cash cow no more. Oh man,
it's tough. Isn't it amazing that by this time next year, the next Call of Duty that's going to get an exclusive map on PlayStation as the contract ends is going to be fun. It's going to be funding Xbox. All the money that they're going to spend on PlayStation. Because listen, PlayStation fans, I'm telling you right now, in 2024, after the deal goes through, Call of Duty 2024 is going to be the best-selling game on PlayStation that year too. I'm telling you right now. So you better don't he bought. I don't want to hear them talking about boycotting. Because that is not going to happen.
Well, I mean, the handheld market is almost impossible because, Nintendo has that market too controlled for the fact that most of the little kids, right? That's the console they go to for the Switch because it's a handheld as well. You know what I mean? It's just a market that appeals to the children big time, and Nintendo's been dominating it since the Game Boy, right? Because they had, Sega tried it; it didn't work with the Game Gear,
Hey, he bought.
You're botting real bad, brother.
Yeah.
Sony tried it
and see, I'm gonna get nothing
twice, and it didn't work for them, even though they did a more powerful console because it was too expensive. Oh, what's open?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Hebot kind of coming in and out here, but I get what Hebot's trying to say, man. About how Nintendo has the handheld market on lock, basically.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
The Game Gear was awesome. I had one as a kid. Sega Man still has his. Right. It was awesome. But the Game Boy
is very difficult.
You got two of them. You got two of them.
Yep, I got two of them.
It's going to be very difficult. TurboGrafx did one. Remember? They did the handheld, and the TurboGrafx was that you used the actual games that you used on the console, and you were able to use it on the go on the game on the Turbo Express.
Yeah, you remember that.
You could use the very same games, and it still didn't do well, right? It's just a market that's dominated. It's a market that's dominated by Nintendo, and they cannot be matched because they had too much of a head start. It's almost like no one can really get on the level of Xbox as far as online gaming because they have too much of a big advance.
Well,
an advantage. You understand? And that's the problem with the handheld. That's why Microsoft, people be like, oh, they should make a handheld. They're not going to do it because they know it's not going to be able to compete with Nintendo. But that's why what they did was we're going to create cloud gaming where you could use your existing library on the go wherever you play, and you could use your cell phone if you need to. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why they did that, because they know that's the safer bet.
Well, it's like I'm gonna give Sega Man his credit. He could do that. He go in the garage. That Atari. What was it? Atari had a handheld. What was that one that you did?
Atari Lynx.
Dude,
And
I had to go in my garage. I even forgot that I had an Atari Lynx. I said, like, damn. I said, this nigga man bringing a thing back in the damn day. Dude, I
well,
knew I had it, but I forgot that I had it. It was in my garage. I was like,
Hey
damn.
guys, I gotta go.
Oh yeah. Hey, thank you for joining, Sega man. And
I'm at work, brother, but you know I had to
oh
be.
yeah.
I had
Hey,
to be here for the unlimited truth, man.
Yeah, hey, definitely, man. It's always a pleasure. Hey, everybody, go follow Sega Man where he does the Omega Xbox. That's right. It's the Omega Xbox now, right?
No, it's the
Outlaws. That's right. Outlaws of Xbox. Sorry about that. Where he does the Outlaws of Xbox. He's absolutely fantastic. And Sega Man, thank you for joining, man. I the fact that you even made it here was a big surprise. So if you gotta go, hey, you gotta go, man.
All right, guys, and see you later, Dea, and Hebot and Tuck, and my brother Unlimited, man. Keep the Unlimited Troop going. I'll be in the chat, guys. Peace.
Okay, take
All
care.
right. Hey, thank you, Sega Man. But yeah,
all right, brother.
was that he bought?
No, I said, all right, brother.
Oh yeah. So let me get back to the chat for a little bit here. Jeremy Brown said, so all them awards that The Last of Us 2 and God of War sold, they don't pay the bills. Nope,
No,
because
they do
Sony
not.
and this is what we mean when we said that Sony did to themselves, Daya. Sony were the ones who's telling the regulators, hey, our exclusives don't make money. Microsoft was the one saying it. Sony's the one who's telling them this.
Right.
So
They said it themselves.
That's what makes stuff like this so funny, man. Even Tug's dog is laughing at them. But all jokes aside, but that's what makes this so funny is that Sony, for some reason, I don't know what the strategy was. Did they think that if they built sympathy that regulators would be like, oh, poor Sony, we can't have them losing content this what makes those content that's already on PlayStation,
right,
they already benefit from, but somehow they're gonna lose and it's gonna kill that's why I see why the UK sided with Microsoft. This shit makes no sense.
Yeah. I just think Sony really thought that they can make a argument with sympathy, right? To get a sympathetic argument, and that the regulators wouldn't look into it deeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they probably thought they're just going to take our word because we could show them numbers based off how much we're worth, how much Microsoft is worth, when it's not that simple. Just because Microsoft makes more money doesn't mean they have more dominance over the market, because they don't. They just started acquiring studios because they didn't have enough for first-party studios. You understand? And I really think Sony just thought, well, if we tell them this and present our case this way, maybe they won't look into further things, or they expected them not to look into further things, and we could win this with a landslide, putting their own government against them, since they're trying to. Because that lady, she's just trying to get political clout. That lady that's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were saying, yeah, because they were saying they wanted to, with all the big Fortune 500 companies, that they were going to try to make sure that they put their foot down and didn't let them, do things with their, taking advantage with the power that they have with the money and stuff like that. And again, it's not that simple with gaming, because Microsoft is a $2 trillion company or $1 trillion company, but it's Microsoft as a whole. It's not just the Xbox division, right?
Yeah.
The Xbox division, it's worth over 600 billion, but that's because they make money off all the other stuff they do, whether it's services, cloud, SCUF, software, and things of that nature. So, but they still don't have the dominance in perception, because again, around the world, it's still in the UK and Japan and China. Sony's still the dominant force as far as what people prefer. In other words, they'll buy their console first before they would buy an Xbox, but they don't buy software, or not enough. Right. So, and that's the argument that they probably thought would win them over, right? But it's not going to be that simple because Microsoft is going to be like, well, what about these things they've been doing? What about that? And so once Sony had to give up whatever information they have and started opening their mouth, they basically put their own shoe in their own mouth is what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen a company put their foot in their mouth this hard in my life because
they should have just took the deal, shut up, and kept going.
Yeah, I don't know how PlayStation fans have the confidence in the brand they do because Sony's literally telling them our exclusives don't make money. Call of Duty's gonna kill us. Just everything.
Call of Duty's what makes us the money so that we can make our exclusives.
Exactly. And Issa here said Sony won't sign the deal because it would indicate they support the decision of the CMA and the EU. When Xbox eventually makes a non-Call of Duty exclusive game, Sony will point out how unfair it is. Now, when that happens, definitely. Okay. When that happens, Issa, the deal's already going to be through, so it's going to be too late. Who are they going to point it's unfair to? You're going to point unfair to regulators who already approved the deal? That's stupid. But what are you going to say, Daya?
I wanted to say that Issa's correct about what he's saying, but except let me see, when Xbox eventually makes a non-COD ABK game exclusive, Sony will, yes, because this is Sony's MO. Okay, what they want to save face, right? They want Microsoft to grovel to them and say, please take our contract, right? That's really what they want. But Microsoft is not going to do that. They can still put COD on there without a contract. They don't need the contract. The contract was there to benefit Sony.
Well, just to show that they're serious about sharing it without screwing them over. That's just so they can show that they're being honest.
Right. And it's important for future acquisitions because that's what was really concerning the regulators over there in the EU and the UK. So now they're going to say, well, Sony, if you didn't accept this deal, that's on you because everybody else has, and they're still making contracts, right? I mean, like I said, I could walk up to Microsoft right now and get a contract. Okay. So at this point, if they don't want to take it, don't. But the second half of what he said is also true because this is how Sony does things. Sony wants to make it seem like Microsoft all along wanted to take COD off of there when they didn't, because again, the numbers prove and backs Microsoft and showing that they would be cutting themselves this, cutting off their funds if they did that. They need the money to help recoup what they spent. I mean, it just makes sense. You need something to fund something else. Let's face it, COD was funding their first party, so now let's let it fund Xbox's first parties, okay? So and make up the money they spent, So COD is one of those games that for Microsoft is just going to get them money. It's going to give them the revenue they need to keep doing what they're doing. That's all it is. They don't need COD in that. They can make other titles. So all the studios they're going to be getting from the ABK deal and all this stuff, they're going to make a lot of games. And guess what? The COD money is going to fund it. That and King. Okay, so that's why I wanted to say that he's right about both points. But I think that Sony is trying to do that second half, but Microsoft is smart. They won't do. They'll keep the deal open to PlayStation. They're going to still, unless PlayStation is going to be forced in the corner to say, we don't want COD on our service. If they come out that far and cut COD off from their consumer base, guess what's going to happen? Those people are just going to migrate over to Xbox. Either way, Microsoft wins. So they just won't say anything. They won't accept the deal. Microsoft will just say it's open. We'll just put the game on there. They don't have to have the 10-year deal. They will be in a precarious situation because of that, but Microsoft doesn't care. The regulators won't care, and they won't be able to whine in the next acquisition that Microsoft took a game from them because that deal was there. And I mean, they had to practically chase Sony to give them that deal. So it won't help them. Those games won't help them.
Yeah.
We all know. The honest truth is that I don't even know why Microsoft hasn't even brought this up, or their lawyers, as a form of defense as well, too. But the only reason COD even became a thing on PlayStation, as we all know, is because when they said, we're not going to do no more third-party deals, we want to do acquisitions, so that we can own our IPs and make more games in the future, right? The only reason they got that Call of Duty deal was because they left that deal behind from the 360 days and told them, yeah, you can make deals with someone else. And they went to Sony, and that's what they took. So, again, the argument is still flawed because at the end of the day, those Call of Duty fans, they all started on 360 because Call of Duty didn't get big until 360. We know that. Especially when you look at the first one on PC, it never did those type of numbers either. So if they try to use that as an argument, they could use that as well and be like, look, we were the ones that were that made Call of Duty big to begin with during the 360 era.
Yeah.
So Sony just got what we decided to cut off because we wanted to do other things to better the company. So even if they try to go on that angle, they're going to crucify themselves, like you said, no matter what. So regardless, they'll migrate over if they don't do it on PlayStation.
Right.
And it's a win-win for Microsoft, no matter what.
Because one thing you got to understand is the casuals are not loyal to anybody. They're loyal to
Oh, no.
like.
They're loyal to that Call of Duty. That's
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They listen. I saw it with my own two eyes with my brother. He had an Xbox One. His friends were on PlayStation 4. He got a PlayStation 4 just to play Call of Duty with them. And a lot of people were like that. And that was pretty much that was the basis for a lot of people who jumped to PlayStation 4. It wasn't that they liked PlayStation, it's that their friends so happened to be on there. And it's like, well, I want to play with my friends. So screw it. I'm making the jump. Now
I play this, y'all. I play like this straight up. They understand what you're saying, but you know what? Thing about it is, when this thing come over, it don't make no doggone difference what Sony did. People got a choice to go to the Xbox Game Pass and play it on Game Pass. You know, everybody want to talk about, well, you know, Xbox, you know, Microsoft, they need Sony. No, Microsoft don't need Sony. They don't need Sony not one damn bit. So the thing about it is, when it comes down to it, fellas, is this. When this shit comes down and it's on the Game Pass, those numbers from Sony is gonna drop like the son of a gun. They're gonna drop.
And that's been their biggest fear because Sony, they could compete if the game was released at $70 on both consoles. They could still compete with that. They can't compete when PlayStation fans gotta pay $70, but it's day one on Game Pass. No, what can you do when that happens, Hebot? Nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah,
nothing. You just gotta put your tail between your legs and call it a day.
Yeah,
and that's. And Terrence Smith says the PlayStation 5 is basically a repeat of the Xbox One. Nah, Terrence, because the Xbox One at least gave us something innovative called Game Pass to close out the generation.
That's right.
So hell, the first half of the last generation, Terrence, they didn't rely on freaking Gears of War 6, like the 6 God of War last year. They gave us Sunset Overdrive. They gave us Titanfall. They gave us Killer Instinct. They gave us Quantum Break. Remember, the first half of last generation, Xbox gave us more than just Halo, Gears, and Forza that they pretended was all we got. And so in PlayStation, PlayStation, they gave you another Horizon, another Spider-Man, another Gran Turismo, and they get praised for it, you know, but still, man, I think that these are two different monsters, Terrence.
I mean, you know, now they want to talk about Silent Hill. I said, man, dude, I don't want to see no damn fucking Silent Hill. Shit, damn. Come on, y'all. I mean, Konami have set on all them damn games this many damn years. They haven't done nothing to them.
Oh, was that Tuck?
Konami have set on them damn games for so damn long. Like, who cares?
That is true.
Does Konami even make games anymore?
I don't think.
Yeah, they started again, but they started with a small exclusive game they did on the Switch, which was like a 2D side scroller,
right?
Kind of like Metroidvania. I forgot the name of it. And then now they're doing the first big one, but it's really a remaster of an existing title, which is Silent Hill.
Right.
So they've been making millions of dollars with Pachinko machines for years.
That's right. Yeah, I knew about the Pachinko machines. But...
Yeah, they're like, we don't need to go into...
You know what, fellas? I got one of them too.
You got a Pachinko machine?
I got a Pachinko machine. I've been having that thing since I was like 10 years old, man.
Wow.
Damn.
You
Hi, Dr.
savage.
Vaca.
Hell, I forgot I had that.
Hey, what's up, Baka? Issa said, keep in mind that Sony brought up that Starfield and Redfall became exclusive. Even though Microsoft honored all contractual obligations, Sony will bring it up again.
Oh,
It's
that
yeah.
that would really bug the hell out of me right there with that.
Now, ISO though, they would only bring that up if Microsoft buys another publisher and we go through the same song and dance if say they buy EA or something. Because again, after everything's approved, what's the point of what would change? Like okay, let's say everything gets approved, right? And Microsoft owns Activision, and they make games exclusive, and Sony say, look, they make games exclusive, so everything's approved. You know, you can't do nothing
own
now.
them, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah,
and not just that, they're gonna have some games that stay multi-plat. Like I think Blizzard probably will. I think I don't know about Diablo. I don't know about that one. Maybe, but I don't know about that one. But I would say Blizzard, Overwatch. You think Diablo will stay multi-plat?
Yes. I think the games that are going to stay multi-plat, your Call of Duties, your Diablos, your Overwatches. What's not going to be multi-plat is your Crash Bandicoots, your Spyros, your new IPs. Because remember, I think people since like me and Hebot, we both know very, very well how good the studios that Activision had. Because Activision used to make games like Transformer Wars of Cybertron, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I mean, they got a long legacy of great games. That unfortunately over the last 6 years or so, Hebot, there's been about 6 years, I'd say, they turned them into Call of Duty support teams. So people there are sleeping on how good studios like High Moon are.
Yes.
High Moon, what they did is they liquidated all the studios and turned them into all the studios became Call of Duty studios, so that they could take turns making new versions of the game year after year. That's why they did that.
Yes. Yeah. And so I've been saying it since day one. My excitement for the Activision deal is that finally High Moon Studios and Ravensoft and all of them, they could do something else because they are extremely talented and they made some of my favorite games in the past. I mean, the Transforming games were fantastic. War for Cybertron and all that. X-Men Legends 2 from Raven Software, that's my favorite superhero game before Gotham Knights came out. I love that game. I love it so much. I still own my GameCube and original Xbox copies of it. Right. I love them games. Right. And so just and I do hope that that Xbox allows Activision to get some licensing. Because I'd like to see more licensing games.
What Microsoft would do is they would take what it is, what they will probably like. Say you like a Transformers game, they might say, "We don't really want licensed game, but why don't you make an original IP that's in the vein of that, like some type of machine type of storyline or whatever." I think they might steer them that way.
I know Microsoft. I know Microsoft likes to own everything that they produce, but I do think that there is value in getting some licensing deals.
I do too.
Like the Indiana Jones games, I think is going to do big numbers because it's Indiana Jones. And the name sometimes the name alone is just big enough. Like we saw with Hogwarts Legacy. So if Hogwarts Legacy was just Magical World, right? Some game called Magical World, it would not sell 12 million copies, no matter how good it is. But the fact that it was tied to Harry Potter, it was still gangbusters. And so I know Microsoft is kind of hesitant on stuff like that. I think now that they own these big publishers like Bethesda and Activision, I think you could just say, hey, if they want to bring back Transformers, let's do it. What can it hurt? It's just going to add.
They should do it, but don't rely on those licensing games. Have them in addition to what you're doing. Put your games at the forefront. Put your IP in the forefront. That's what you put your most investment into. But have the occasional licensed game. I don't see that it hurts. And also it develops a relationship between Microsoft and whatever company, like say Disney, when they had Rare do the Pirates of the Caribbean, DLC, so or add-on. I think that was like an expansion or something like that. So yeah, it doesn't hurt because it builds up relationships with other companies, and you never know when you can use a company like that, maybe in a different way, like maybe they make movies or something like that, and you can kind of get a deal like, hey, help us make a movie, we do some games for you, we can both benefit, so I hope that they do something like that. But I understand Phil's apprehension. He doesn't ever again want to rely on third parties, and he doesn't ever again want to rely on licensing to get the company, and he doesn't need to now because with all the IP they own, all the studios, they don't have to anymore.
And that's the important part. They own so much that it won't be relying on it this time. It'll just be an addition. And I think that there's a lot of listen. People love. We all grew up on. Imagine if tomorrow Bethesda said, "Hey, we're making a He-Man exclusive game for Xbox." He-Man fans will lose their minds.
I would like the man He-Bot would do an emergency meeting.
Exactly. So that's all
you gotta stop.
That's all. I don't think we've ever had a Thundercats game. Imagine if they did something like that.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah,
man.
That. Yeah. So I would say to Phil, now that we got established IPs, now that we got new IPs, now that we got original content, let's branch out a little bit. I think that there's a lot of merit to that, man. I think there's a lot. There's a lot they could do.
There's definitely opportunities. Yes.
Yeah. And just catching up with the chat here real quick. Radiant said Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Diablo are community games. Yeah. He said it perfectly. They're community games, which is why they'll stay multiplayer. Okay. Perfectly put, Radiant. Yeah. But yet Crash 5, for example, don't put it on PlayStation. Let them have that meltdown. I want to see that meltdown when Crash Bandicoot 5 is announced as exclusive He-Bot. And the PlayStation fans like they stole our game. Which and to that I'd say Sony shouldn't have thrown them away.
That's true.
Because
Crash was bought. Activision bought it from them long ago. From those other companies. So once something's bought, it doesn't belong to you. But they still. I remember when the PS4, when Sean Layden came out with the Crash shirt, and they thought it was going to be exclusive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, those are things that they bring up. They're just going to sound stupid because the bottom line is they don't own them anymore, But I really think Microsoft is going to try to expand the talent of Activision, let them do new stuff. I really do.
Right.
Yeah.
I do feel that.
That's actually what I'm excited about is what new games they're going to come out with. That is what I'm really looking forward to.
Yep.
Of course, I do want them to do a prototype, please. I've been begging for that, but yes, I would. Yes, the new IP is really what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's room to visit old IPs, and there's room to make new ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what makes the gaming space so special.
And like you said, He-Bot, the thing about it is they can make Call of Duty better now.
And they don't have to make it yearly either. They could give those developers time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Time to explore, to be more creative, to get better ideas.
Right.
I see. Other Zeke is something else.
What does Zeke here say, man?
He's gonna say Sony should have crashed. They would still
Hey, someone tell Colin Moriarty that, man. That's hilarious, Zink. That's a good one. Ponies only got Sony. Yeah, man. Listen, if Sony was so great, they should have made these moves. That's all I'll say. Yeah. Aaron Smith said, Jay said to Terrence Smith Jr., X-Men Legends was my first action RPG. I love that game. Played it on a game. Yeah, same here, man. And I still own copies of both of them. I love them to death, man. I love them to death. But the last thing that we're going to talk about before we call it night, where is it? It was something about, hold on, guys. Let me find it. I had it here, and I think I exited out. Congress. No. All right, guys, give me 1 second. Let me pull up the article, and then we're going to call the night after that. And what was it about? Oh, Game Pass. Hey, what's up, Tuck?
Not much, man.
Oh, okay. I heard you back there. Here it is. Here it is. All right. So the other big news today, which I don't even know how this is news, but it deals with Xbox, so people are going to talk about it. Xbox has officially ended the $1 trial offer, and so there's always been some, for the longest, Hebot, Tuck, and Daya, we've heard this. Xbox, people are only paying $1 for Game Pass, right? When in reality, that $1 was always just for that first month when you first joined.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, right. That's all it was, right? And yet for the longest, that was this fake narrative. Now that Xbox ended it, they're doing this fake outrage thing. PlayStation fans doing this fake outrage thing, where somehow this means that they rose the price of it and everything. But Tuck, man, I'm gonna start with you. This is non-news, right? Who cares, man? Because again, it was just a trial offer for people, first-time users. All this means is that when new users join Game Pass going forward, when they go from 30 million to 40 million or 40 million to 50 million, Tuck, that's going to be more money. That's all that means.
Right. Boy, like this. I mean, like I said, and I always have told people, I'm locked down with Game Pass for the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. I don't have to worry about another for the next 3 years with Game Pass. That's all it is saying. This dollar deal, who cares? I mean, if Microsoft decided to do it, hey, do it. Do it, be done with it, and go along with life. I mean, I don't have a hard time with it because I know that people, was getting it for $1. I know before they closed that loophole down, people did buy it for $1 for a lot of times until Microsoft cut that loophole down. I mean, I didn't get a part of it. I mean, I was trying to get a part of it, but by the time I was trying to get a part of that dollar deal, Microsoft cut the loophole down. So, but no, I don't got no problem with that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just to get people on board with Game Pass. They decided to end it. And I think they're doing something else too. I don't know what else they're doing, but I think they're gonna come out with a $9. I think I'm hearing like a $9 or a $14. I really don't know how they're gonna do it, but but like I said, it's Microsoft's company. They can do what they want to do. I don't get no problem with it. I mean, I think it's a dollar is just $1. But like you said, it is a lot of money when you add everything in with everybody doing it for $1. But no, I don't have no problem with it, man. I mean, it's business. Overall, when it comes down to it, it's their business and they do what they need to do.
Yeah, Tuck, this is no different than when you see, hey, join Disney Plus and your first month is free. No different than that. Right.
No different.
Yeah, this isn't a price hike or none of that dumb shit.
No.
It was just a temporary promotion. Actually, this promotion lasted so long because this promotion lasted years, actually.
Well, at least last 3 years.
Yeah, this was unusually long for a promotion, if you ask me. Because usually it's like a few months later, it's like, oh shit, what happened to that deal? Oh, expired a month ago. What? That's usually how it is. This right. The Game Pass for $1 trial thing. That one was unusually long, but it was smart. It was smart because let's not forget, Game Pass is still in their infancy, right? This is only the beginning. This first 5-6 years, only the beginning. So right. for them to say, hey, join Game Pass for $1 for the first month. So many people clearly love it. He bought Tuck and Daya, and as a result, they kept their subscriptions. Mm-hmm. And now that they're 30+ million strong.
Well, if you think about Ultimate, the thing about it is they're trying to get the family pass. Okay, yeah. They're trying to get the family pass together. Will be $24 a month for 4 people to play on the family pass. Man, $24 a month for 4 people? That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, that's going to be huge because Hebot, how many people in your family use Game Pass?
Let me see. It's all 4 of my boys. and myself.
Oh wow! So man, you paying?
And I even got one for my daughter. So 6.
Yeah. See,
Wow.
so when that family pass hit, that's going to be massive because Keybot is not in a unique situation. Do you know how many families out there bought their kids Xboxes for Christmas and stuff, set up Game Pass? But a family plan means that dad could play it. That means little brother can play it. That means little sister can play it. Oh no, that's going to take over the world when that finally gets.
I mean, just like you said, just imagine, when like if I decide to get it, but the thing about it is, like, if I decide to get it, my son don't have to worry about the Game Pass. He don't have to worry about the Game Pass at all. I mean, he can just play his games and I hope that they do a multi thing where you can stack it up too.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
well, I mean,
like that'd be cool.
Unlike Sony, Microsoft still allows you to stack up to 3 years, I think, with stuff like Game Pass cards and all that. As Terrence Smith here was referencing.
So we'll, I think Microsoft's doing everything right, man.
Yeah,
I mean, whether the ponies like it or not, they're doing everything right, and Sony's doing everything wrong.
Yep.
I mean, they're not even trying to even put any of their day one exclusives on their system because they got to have the $70. They gotta have it.
Yeah, Zink here said, question, did Sony cancel their $1 version of PlayStation Plus, or Sony never had a $1 option? They never had. Zink, not only had they never had an option, people were trying to try to run game and get years. They're trying to get years of PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, one of them two, before they changed it, and Sony shut that shit down. They did not let them do the free upgrade. So not only did they never exist, they Sony tried to nickel and dime it, and then not only that, it's $18 a month for their highest tier subscription, and you don't get exclusives day one.
Yeah, you get demos, right?
And you just get demos,
yeah.
You get you can go to the Xbox store right now and type in demos.
Right, and you get all the demos that they get to, man. Please.
Yeah, man.
Well, the demos on Xbox are not tied down to subscription.
That's true. Yeah.
That's a big difference.
They also tied their rewards points to the subscription.
So
I don't think people recognize that as well.
I need to spend mine. Mine just been collecting. I need to spend mine.
Hey, they at the end of the last year, I had so many damn points. I bought like a $50 gift card.
Wow.
That's how I ended up buying Marvel Midnight Suns.
Wow.
I got it for basically free when it was on sale because I had so many damn points.
That's another point that people don't even realize. Unlimited. On Xbox, you got the reward system, which most people use it. And this is how they keep paying for the subscription monthly. So the way Microsoft is looking at it, look, this is how they're looking at it. Okay, we offer the $1, but we already give reward points for free, right? Incentives with everything, whether you buy a game, buy a movie, surf online, all types of stuff. You get pretty much points for anything, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Then they know they're close to the acquisition. Once this acquisition hits, they're going to have more AAA games, more value. Plus, there's also a sign of the times. People cannot realistically think that Microsoft is going to continue to, right, give you AAA games month after month, right, on their subscription service and only charge you $1 for an entry point.
Right.
That's just unrealistic because the minute they get that acquisition, now they're going to have Call of Duty, they can have Crash, all types of stuff. So the value is going to be there. So in order for them to continue to offer that value, is going to be more expensive because obviously the service is run by dedicated servers. That's not cheap. That's not something that doesn't cost money to maintain. So, and it works so well because when you play games on Game Pass, they work like if you had the actual disc. It doesn't work any different, right?
Right.
Because you have to download them. Remember, on PS Plus, only PS4 games and PS5 games you can download. Everything else is streamed.
Yep.
That's another de facto, right? So the experience is never the same. with Xbox Game Pass, you're getting the all the backwards compat stuff plus the new stuff all there, like it's native on the console because you got to download it. So again, it's not apples to apples or apples to oranges, right? And you got the fact of the points reward system, which basically pays in and of itself. You use it every day. It pays for almost everything that you need on Xbox on a monthly basis.
Right.
Then they're going to have more value once this acquisition goes through. So it's going to be more expensive. Plus, you're going to have more value in the service. So, and then you got to remember, it's also the signs of the time. It's getting more expensive. They can't keep just offering stuff cheap. But I also think it's also part of their strategy that they want to create more valuable options, like Tuck mentioned, like maybe a family plan, right? Where you get 4 subscriptions for maybe $30 a month, $25 a month, which is also going to be just as enticing because you're basically paying $5 per subscription, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about, oh my God, but I got to get a separate subscriptions with each individual person. No, you basically buy one, 4 people can share it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And they're going to continue to do it because they know the value is there. The gamers, the people buying it. The other day I was in Walmart and I heard 2 young kids, and one was Mexican, the other one was Dominican, and they tend to usually play what's popular, like PlayStation, Nintendo. And they were like, bro, I love Game Pass. I love Xbox Game Pass. That shit's amazing. I hate the PlayStation Plus. That shit's garbage next to it. So it's already starting to trend, and it's starting to change within the minds of even the younger audiences, right? Because how can you deny it when you go on your Xbox, you don't buy a game, but yet you get home, you download, you upload, do all the updates, and as soon as you go and download that Game Pass, right? Or not even download it, but it's already there. You go in and you see all them games. Oh, I could download this. Wait, I could play this. Oh, wait, this just came out. Oh wait, I could play.
I'll do you one better, Hubot.
Go
You could open your Game Pass or Xbox app right now and download it to your console from your phone. Then by the time you get home, game is ready.
Yes, or you could download the games weeks in advance.
Yep.
When it comes out, you don't even have to worry about waiting. You just play.
Yep. Redfall's been sitting in my ready to play section since
there you go.
Yeah,
perfect.
January.
Perfect example. So it's just something that's going to continue to just get bigger, because the more things they get in there, especially once people know what. You could play Call of Duty on Game Pass? You really think they're going to opt to play it on PlayStation, to buy it for $70, especially if they don't have the money, when they could just go to the store and buy Game Pass for $10, $15 and be able to play it, not only play the game, but online as well, because that's what Ultimate offers, right?
Yeah.
So, again, I just think they're looking for more tiers. There are more... that give the consumer more options, and at the same time they're going to make it more attractive, where more and more people are just going to migrate over and be like, I'm going to get Game Pass because it's worth it.
Right.
And that dollar thing is it's been around since Game Pass started, like a year after it started. I think they started doing that, but that still doesn't detract from them throwing offers from time to time. Oh yeah, get Game Pass this month for the first time if you're not a member for $1. Or maybe they'll be, it's $3 this time, or maybe it's just $5. Right. I still think they're going to offer something, right? But they're trying to see what would work long term for everybody, them, the consumer, because again, the more value they get, the more companies they get, the more games they get. And you see all these new games are doing well. Scorn did well. Hi-Fi Rush did well. Ion Life did well. Atomic Heart did well.
Yeah.
Right. So what does that mean? That means that people are playing games on Game Pass. So that means that they feel the value's there. And they see that. They see the data. Microsoft sees the data. So, them trying to repurpose whatever they offer for the consumer is the norm. That's not abnormal. Any company does that. Right?
Definitely.
It's just like when you go to McDonald's, right, and you go to Burger King. That before we used to get a bundle for $4, right? Then what they do now is they'll add a little extra. Oh yeah, get some nuggets, and now you pay $6. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's still value.
Another thing that you look at too, y'all. Hell, you go on Amazon. They got two things they have the Ultimate Game Pass for $41 for 3 months, and then they just got the Game Pass, but for 3 months for $29. You know, and that's and that's for 3 months. So like my son, he don't play on computers, so I just bought him. You know, I just buy him the Game Pass. He don't have to worry about being on the computer because he don't be on the computer. And all that stuff, but if he wants to be on the Ultimate Game Pass, he can, but it's gonna cost him like $41. But there's all kind of revenue.
Yeah, what about they're thinking about adding stuff? Hey, Tuck, what about they're thinking about adding stuff like with Game Pass? Now you could also get Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. They have the Spotify one, the Apple. I think it's Apple Music.
Right. So imagine that's even more attractive because not only can you play your games.
Yeah, and
now
then
you can also watch movies.
Yeah, and to add to that, another thing is that it's the only streaming service that hasn't risen its prices. HBO Max, Disney Plus, and all them, they haven't been around as long as Game Pass.
Yes,
and they've risen their prices over the
every year, year after year.
Yeah, man. And Vodka here said, why do they combine the PlayStation Plus and premium subscriber numbers and not Game Pass and Xbox Live? Oh, that's their way to lie, to pretend that that they got more subscribers. That's all that is, Vodka. That's just their they think they're clever, but everybody is like, okay.
Because on paper it looks better. Damn, they got one. Because I've seen people do that. What you talking about? They got 75 million people.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we all know that the real number is probably more like 20 or 15.
And also, let's not forget that
I guarantee with the PlayStation Plus, that whatever it's called now, it is not 20 million of them people that's paying $18 a month. Nah, that
unlimited.
Ain't happening.
Unlimited. You got the PS5, okay? Yeah. What they have done is take away more and more from the consumers. You can't watch movies no more on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. You can't even browse the internet.
The disc drive doesn't have you can't play like your Blu-rays in them and stuff like that for some reason.
Wow.
You can't even browse the internet. They took the internet browser off. And people, the conspiracy theory to that is that they don't want people to play Game Pass on their browser. Right.
That would surprise me though, but
yeah, they use that as bullshit, but that's not true.
Right now, I'm looking at all my war points. Dude, I get close to 48,000 war points.
Yeah, eventually, Tuck, you're going to be able to afford them $50 gift cards like I was, man.
Yeah.
Them points come in handy.
He's gonna buy
they give you good deals. Like sometimes if you buy a game, like digital, and it's a $60 game, let's say, they give you like almost $20 in points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they give you
so you're really only paying like $40 right off the hip.
I'm at the point where anytime I buy a game digitally, I get that message from Xbox. You got enough points to buy a $25 gift card.
Yeah.
I'm like, please stop sending that to me, Xbox.
Please, because you're just making it worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like for myself, I'm on the auto gen thing for the gift cards.
Uh-huh.
I can get a gift card. You know, I'm already signed up, so each month I get a $10 gift card.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it ain't number 8,750 points.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Thank you, Tuck, because they also have a system in the Bing rewards. That's what Tuck is talking about.
Right.
That if you put it where it's automated, right? Mm-hmm. Where they automatically charge you for whatever you want to use them for. Like let's say you want to do it where it automatically charges for your Xbox Live Gold, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
you get like a 15% discount. In other words, if it normally costs 10,000 points, it's only 8,300 points.
Right.
Okay.
And you save points. They even have that feature. That's another feature that people don't talk. Well, it's just like the Xbox controller has the greatest feature that any gamer would want on a controller, which is the DLI, direct latency input, which means it gives you 0.2 latency on your controllers and your games, which what gamer wouldn't want the best response on their controller over any other controller? And they try to say, oh no, I want to blow on my controller and say hallelujah.
Honestly, PlayStation 5 games don't even really utilize any of them gimmicks.
No, but on Twitter they be pulling that stunt.
Honestly,
you can hear it right in the controller.
It's not
vibrating in your soul in your hand. You just touch it.
It's not as impressive as they make it seem. For example,
and they be like,
if there's
it
wind
feels
blowing,
like I'm holding a real gun shooting at people. Like, oh my gosh. Can you stop?
It's like if the
ultimate. Sony even had the nerve to mention that up. All that Microsoft will be taking away the dual pressure sensor. I'm like, and then when I'm hearing that people don't even use it.
Hey, Tuck, this is the same company, okay? And you could put it up and pull it up there, my brother Unlimited, that said, God of War will make you a better father.
Oh,
so you can't from them, bro, expect the unexpected. They'll say anything. They'll say anything and people fall for it. That's the funniest part. They literally fall for that bull crap, and then when they get it, like, this ain't the way they made it seem. Like, what the hell is this garbage?
Yeah, shit, man. The Last of Us made me a better lesbian, so I don't know. Hey, but let me get Daya. I want to get your thoughts on this before we close the show about Game Pass and their $1 trial offer. I think it served its purpose. I think it's worked out extremely well. I think that it did exactly what it's set to do. Get people to try Game Pass at the least. What's the word I'm looking for? Not affordable. It's the opposite of affordable. But you know what I'm trying to say. At the least amount possible, they stick with it because they love it. And now years later, you got 30 million plus subscribers.
Exactly. All I can say is that for all the PlayStation people who said, support the devs, that's exactly what we're doing. We're supporting the devs. I when I pay my $15 a month, that's what I am doing. It's supporting the service that I like the most.
You saw how much Microsoft paid out?
Yeah,
2.6 billion so far.
That's great because I like this service. I want it to be healthy. I understand there's no way they can stay like that. But
and you notice they put that statement out just like a week and a half ago. I don't know if you remember, Unlimited. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Forgive me.
It's okay.
It's just I had it in the thought. I remembered. They just put out where since Game Pass started, they paid indies a total of almost $5 billion in revenue.
Ooh.
Right? In money.
That's
the total, almost $5 billion with the B, right? Wow. When just a week before that, remember, Unlimited, the indie developers are saying that they don't like putting their games on PlayStation because they like to advertise only the AAA and not the smaller titles. Yeah. And ultimately, their games end up selling better on Xbox because of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see the irony in that? That is hysterical.
Yeah, that I remember. I'm pulling that up right now. Here it is.
Let's see. I want to see that article. Let's see. Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yep. There you go. And as Legend said, support the devs. If that doesn't support the devs, I don't know what does.
That's my problem. Instead of them having the fake outrage, guess what? Let's push the dollar aside. We know the service is far better than anything Sony is offering or Nintendo or anybody else for that matter. It deserves the $15 or $10 a month. Quit whining about it. That's the way I look at it. I get the value that I want out of Game Pass every month. So I don't
it's a game-to-game basis too, Daya. You know that if it's a bigger game and it's still independent, they're going, like, let's say the people who did what's the game that E-Rock loved that he always talked about? The one that just came out with the sequel. Yeah, it's Plague Sale, right?
Oh, Plague
With a Sobo. You know that they're not going to give a Sobo the same amount of money that they
Right.
probably gave the people that made Ninja Turtles because it's a much bigger game.
Exactly. And they're at greater risk of loss because it's a single player
Right,
game.
because they pay way
one
more
and
money.
done.
Exactly, great point. And
So
this
they
is, and it's
compensate.
funny because that was a narrative also that they tried to pull the pony. They were like, they only pay them probably like $10,000 per game. Like, it was crazy.
There's been devs that said that whatever Microsoft paid them took care of development cost.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Flat out right from the beginning.
So they get their game paid, put on a platform where they're set up to succeed
Before they even sell.
No matter
investment.
what.
That's
Before they even release.
That's incredible.
And they get the
now's
cut.
the time to be an indie developer, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said when those indie developers that made games for PlayStation that made that statement. Imagine how they felt when they saw those numbers. They were like, "Oh my god!"
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Because
didn't they say they had a waiting? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No.
I just wanted to say this. Didn't they say it's a waiting list to get onto Game Pass? I think I heard
Yes.
that from somewhere.
they already have a waiting list for a bunch of developers that want to put games on Game Pass. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that's the reason why we saw the shift in releases for their big games, like Starfield.
Oh,
I think that's the reason why.
And that's going to be a problem moving forward because
yeah.
Xbox they advertise, they try to put those games out there in the forefront so people can see them. So they have to shift their own games around their partners within Game Pass, or just even the ones that are still bringing their games to Xbox.
You remember Phil said we would like to have a big big title in house, right? First party, one launch, one release every month. Remember he said that?
Every quarter. It was every quarter.
Oh, that's what he said. Okay, well, thank you for the correction.
Quarter, okay.
Regardless, it's still it's a lot, right? You're talking about maybe five AAAs a year, right? Maybe 6. So on top of releasing big AAAs like Atomic Heart from indie devs, you can't, like, there's no way. And they probably realize that, and they're like, fuck, we got to really manage this, because then the other games are going to get drowned and they're not going to make no money.
Right, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
If you
So
ask
it makes
me,
perfect
that's
sense.
why Starfield was pushed. I tell you, I honestly believe Starfield was pushed back. It's been ready. It's playable. We all know this. It was pushed back because of placement. I can see it written all over that.
It makes sense, Thea.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But the first thing you saw these guys, oh, you see, Microsoft love lying. That's what they were going to release it between the 12-month window.
Right.
They just love lying. Like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Use your common sense. Be quiet.
Yeah.
I know one thing I want to see them do. I would like to see them buy the studio A Plague's Tale. I would love to see
too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, if it happens, it happens. Zink said that's why Sony wrote contracts for developers to not put games in Game Pass.
Right.
Bingo.
Yeah. That's right.
Bingo.
Because they knew they were going to be like, yo, we getting paid over here. I don't know about y'all, but y'all need to go on Xbox, so they paying.
Yeah.
If Zink's 1,000% right, I guarantee you that's what's going on. And they're like, Sony's like, no, we can't let that go down.
Remember, that was confirmed by the Brazilian government.
Yes, it was.
Resident Evil 8 was used as an example of a game that was specifically paid to not go to Game Pass.
Yes.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think after the APK deal officially closed, we know that the hurdle is done. Sony is not even being listened to. So that's why people are like, it's a done deal because the cloud is not really an issue. But once the APK deal is closed and is finalized, do you think that this is going to mark a shift and developers and stuff will no longer sign deals like that with Sony? I mean, do you think that it will start to change the policies that people are willing to, put themselves in to be locked under Sony only and all this? Because think about it, Microsoft now owns a franchise as big as COD and stuff. They own Activision, huge, So do you think that's like a paradigm shift, as Iraq will call it? I think
definitely. And let me add to that. Listen, these companies follow the money, right? And it's going to happen faster than we ever know. One day we're going to wake up and it's like, damn, Sony's got almost no marketing deals and all this other stuff, right? Because that Microsoft money is just too hard to pass up.
Right.
If somebody said, hey, I'll buy your car for $500,000, and the next guy say I'll buy it for $10,000, you're not even going to look at the other guy's way. Right. And that's how it is with Microsoft, because now that Activision was purchased for nearly $70 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Now they know every developer, every publisher, everybody in the gaming world who has a chair in some board meeting knows that, well, if push comes to shove, Microsoft got that money, and only. And you gotta, unless your name is Square Enix, you're not passing up on that money.
Right.
Yeah.
And we see what's wrong with Square Enix because they've been passing up on that Xbox money.
Yes. Yeah. But they want to stay phased. That's why they keep doing it, because they don't want to admit that they're wrong, and that's going to ultimately bring them to their demise. I'm telling you.
Exactly. That's why he bought Square Enix says stuff like Japan isn't enough. We need to target the global market. Well, Final Fantasy 16 exclusive. Something there's not making sense, right? Something there doesn't add up when stuff like that happens, right? When games continually Octopath Traveler, the first one was on Game Pass.
I'm a victim of that. Yeah.
Octopath Traveler 2, not even on Xbox, going to PlayStation. I don't think the first game hit PlayStation.
Yeah,
stuff like that makes no sense. And I'm sorry, Square, you're going to reap the benefits. And I'm saying this as somebody I actually enjoy some of Square Enix games. The Nier series, I love those Nier games, especially Nier. That Nier,
I have Nier,
that game blew me fucking away by how fun it was. I even like Nier.
Automata.
Automata.
Yeah, I like that one, man. And how it uses different genres. Like it starts off out of shoot 'em up before becoming a hack and slash and stuff like that.
Right. And then it becomes an RPG, an open world type game.
So Square actually makes games that I enjoy, but as an Xbox fan, why would the Xbox community continue to support games where we support Octopath Traveler? You're not even going to put the second one on Xbox? What? No, you're leaving money on the table when you do stuff like that. Meanwhile, Atlas Studios say, "Hey, we're going to put Soul Hackers on Xbox. We're going to put the Persona games on Xbox." And now Xbox fans aren't feeling neglected by
Scarlet Nexus, for example.
I bought that. I bought Octopath. All from Game Pass, by the way.
That's a good game.
Scarlet Nexus is my favorite Japanese game on Xbox. That game, they were so
last
smart.
year. I remember.
They're so smart. They're so smart. They put the game day one on Game Pass.
Yeah,
they're ahead of the curve in terms of Japanese studios. They're like, shit.
This is how bad it is for my son now. Okay, when I bought him the Xbox, dude, he don't even play his PlayStation.
That happened. That's happened because that's what happened to my son's friend David. He was a big pony head, and as soon as he got on Xbox, discovered Game Pass, how easy it is to play with other people and with like my son and things like that. The same thing he doesn't even touch, and he's a big MLB fan, and that was one of the things that made him completely cross over because he was paying for it every year. Right. And when it was on Game Pass, he's like, "Oh, I could just play it on Game Pass. What the fuck?" And that shit was attractive to him. Listen, he's always on Xbox, and he was a PlayStation pony, like to the core.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Like my son, he's gonna get it by, he's gonna say, well, because he asked me about Atomic Heart, and he asked me about. He said, "Well, Dad, he said, well, I heard that it's on the PS5." I said, son, why you want to buy on the PS5 when you can go ahead and download it? You got the Game Pass, so you can.
Yeah, it don't make no sense.
Yeah.
And that's just what he did. He said, what, Dad, thanks, because I was about to spend $70.
And keep another thing in mind too, Tuck and they and Unlimited, that the beauty also of Game Pass is that they share also revenue with all the developers from the sales they make from the store digitally.
Yeah.
And they offer you, not only do they pay them up front, they give them a cut, and they offer discounts to every game. I think it's a 15% discount for every game that is on Game Pass to the consumers.
Okay.
Yep. So you're not
on top of that.
Price.
Well, I'm probably like helping them twice, because oftentimes I use Game Pass to decide what things I want to buy, and when I
you saw Hi-Fi Rush and what was the other one? The MLB. When those games came out, right?
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, they're just playing it on Game Pass," and then when you go into the store it was the highest selling game on the store.
Yeah, I bought it too.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which shows you that they're buying the games as well.
Yeah.
So people try to use that argument, oh, they're not buying them. Dude, you go to the store, it's the number one game being sold on the store. What are you talking about? Atomic Heart was the number one game sold on the store.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush was the number one game sold on the store. Scorn was the number one game sold on the store. All of them, even though they're on Game Pass.
And he bought another thing too. I mean, I'm just glad to see Major League Baseball what they did. They would have just told Sony straight up, y'all ain't making no money off this game, so we're gonna put on the Game Pass. Now, if y'all want to keep on making it, fine. If you don't, hell, we go to somebody else.
Right.
I mean, that's all it is to it. I mean, hey, what was Sony gonna do? Sony decided to go and make it for both of them but the good thing about it wasn't their game, because if it was PlayStation's game, it would have still been paying. We would have still been paying $70 for the damn game, like they always are now on their system. But it's on the Game Pass. Microsoft made a deal with Major League Baseball, and that's it. And the game been selling good ever since.
Yep.
So they making money. The last 3 years they've been on the Game Pass making money.
Yep. And absolutely spot on, Tuck. Vaca, thank you for correcting me, Vaca. Scarlet Nexus, it did hit Game Pass eventually. It wasn't there day one. You're right. I bought it too.
I just bought it. Yeah.
That's right.
This is a good comment from Fireballs.
Fireballs here said, keep telling folks stop sweating the Square shit. They won't change. They're too beholden to Sony. Phil needs to just get their own studio under Xbox Game Studios to Panda Vision and bring back Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon. Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Man, and look, we already saw what a Japanese game could do on the Xbox Studios just January with Hi-Fi Rush.
And don't think they didn't pay attention. They paid attention. They seen.
Yeah. Now, me personally, I know y'all aren't gonna like this. I don't really like Blue Dragon or Lost Odyssey, but that has more to do with me not being a big turn-based fan. It took a
but you have every right. You have every right to feel that way.
That's all right. Limited on the back of a milk cart, we'll know what happened to him.
Those are two Japanese games everybody always prided. I gotta be honest with you. They did almost nothing for me personally, man, and I own both of them games.
Right, they're good games, but if you're not a turn-based enthusiast, you probably weren't gonna really like it. That's why they're trying to sway away with the turn-based gameplay mechanics with the Final Fantasy games. The new one, I saw a trailer yesterday behind the scene for 16, and that game looks like a hack and slash. It's an action RPG hack and slash. It has no turn-based in it. It even has a segment where you fly on like an eagle or a falcon or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So
and so with that, we're going to give our final thoughts and call it a night. Thank you everyone who joined in the chat. From Other Zinc to Fireboss to Vodka, Jeremy Brown, Terrence Smith. I'm trying to pull a Sega man and name everybody in the chat for once because
Issa, who has some
Issa was excellent. Jay Radiance 96, and everybody else who joined. There's so many. The comments be on fire, and there'd be so much it'd be hard to keep up sometimes. So I do apologize there. You guys are absolutely fantastic. But I'm gonna start with you, Hebot. Hebot gives your final thoughts and let them know where they can find you.
Yes, I would like to take a moment to thank all my haters that doubted me, that thought I was always lying. I hope my buttholes tasted really good to you, because now you're gonna have to forever taste it in your mouth for calling me a conspiracy theorist and a liar. I'm so honored. No. It's been great, man. It's been great. Thank you for having me on, as always. Like I said, I appreciate all the praises and the love and respect, because I know you guys are doing it genuinely, right? You guys are doing it from the heart. You're not being disingenuous, and I don't take it like me trying to get clout. That's not how I am. That's not who I am. But I do take it with pride, because I'm glad to say that I've been real since the very beginning. And even though I had a lot of doubters, now they see that I've always been about the preservation and the growth of gaming. Not for my own personal growth, but for the respect that I have for gaming, because it was my best friend and my companion since I was very young. Because I grew up alone, and only had my mom, and there was a language barrier. I didn't have a lot of friends at the time. Obviously, that changed with the years, but gaming gave me a lot of solitude. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I respect it so much. And some people are like, "Damn, you're a grown ass man, and stop. You shouldn't even be playing games. That's for little kids, man." That may be so for some, but for me, it protected me from the street.
That is a generational thing because
right. But for me,
I don't get criticized for playing games in my
30s. Right.
And every girlfriend I've ever had never cared.
Well, you've been lucky. You've been lucky, and that's great. That's fantastic.
That's a very generational.
That means you're a good judge of character, and you know who you hang around with. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But for me, like I said, gaming, and for many people that I know, saved them from the streets, from selling drugs, from going to jail, from getting locked up by doing something stupid, like maybe killing someone or robbing someone or doing something dumb. Believe it or not, it saved me from a lot of that stuff. And I have to be grateful for gaming because of that. And a lot of people I know feel the same way. That may not necessarily be here on YouTube the way that I am. And that's why I say it, so that people that doubt it or that find it weird can have a better understanding why I have so much respect for the hobby. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. So, thank you guys. It's been fun. And like for always, hopefully some more funny topics will come up so we can do some more shows, because it's going to get real dry for Sony real soon, real fast.
And with that, I'm going to move to Dea, as always, the first lady of chat. Again, thank you. First of all, I do want to thank all three of you guys, because this was an impromptu show. Didn't let them know, just did it as soon as I got off work. And the fact that you guys took the time out to join me really does mean a lot. But Thea, as always, give us your final thoughts and let them know where they can find you.
Well, I'm the first lady of chat, and you guys can always find me in the chat. Lately, I've been very busy, so I have not been vocal, but I am always lurking around. And I just wanted to say that it's not a lot to leave you guys with as far as something that's uplifting. We've had a heck of a week. I've been sitting back and laughed so much. I mean, I seen this guy write a tome on Twitter and stuff like that, talking about the ABK deal. So I just have been having the time of my life, and I hope you guys do too. But honestly, look forward to what's to come, because it sounds like Xbox has had like a little pep in their step, and they sound excited now, and the Lulu sound excited, and I just think that, boy, we're about to see some really good stuff coming up.
Hey, when you saw Dreamcast guy do a video where he looked like he was about to burst out crying, Sony took an L. I'm sorry, but they took an L. They lost.
Wait, what did he say they took an L for?
Because of the CMA saying that they are not gonna side with Sony. He did a video. He had his hair sticking out on both sides of his hat. He looked like he ain't sleep for like 2 days. He looked like he was about to cry. He's like, they took an L. We've lost. It's over. They lost. I'm like, wow. It was priceless. It was just funny. It was too funny.
So I can't beat this last week. I can't give you guys anything better than this last week, but just know we got more of that coming. So that's pretty much
It should be just good for this point forward. Yeah.
Right. And man, I look forward to more podcasts with you guys. It's fun. It's been nothing but fun recently, and this is what I like to see.
It's the same here. We're glad to have you.
I'm glad to have you.
You're a great element that we needed.
Yeah, great, excellent addition to the Xbox family. And with that, Tuck Master, man, give us your final thoughts and let them know where they can find you.
Man, all I gotta say, man, is this. One damn thing is this. Ponies, keep on playing that same drive system that you got now. There's a new sheriff in town. There's always have been a new sheriff in town, and it's Xbox and Microsoft. Get ready for it. Get used to it. And I'm going to tell you one more damn time. Get on your Sony providers. If they don't sign that deal for Call of Duty to be on your system, y'all get what you get. But you know what? Don't come back to our system. Just stay on that dry-ass system. and leave the good people leave the good people that like to play Xbox game alone. We don't need you. We don't want you. We don't need to have you. And I mean, especially when the people who's gonna turn around and talk about, because you're gonna be seeing a lot of people flip flop on their podcast now, and
Yeah, I
they are.
agree with that.
They're gonna flip flop big time now. So get ready for that to happen. But all I gotta say, man, this your boy DJ Tuckmaster. I am signing off. I have to go back to bed because I have to get up at 11 o'clock at night. I had to got to be at work at 12 midnight. So, but it's been real nice talking to every single one of y'all. And all I gotta say is this, ponies. I'm gonna put like this. What say? Because our man always say, we don't die. All we do is multiply. We're eating good on our end at the Xbox people, and that's it.
Yeah, man, absolutely excellent, man. Jeremy Brown here mentioned MBG. Yeah, MBG was on suicide. Dog, he now oh my goodness, he's like he's the worst of the worst to me because he jumped ship from Xbox to PlayStation because of exclusives. Now he's up there saying exclusives are bad and this and that.
Yeah.
You can't make this shit up, man. It's hilarious. Other things say Ryan McCaffrey and their entire podcast were hurt.
Wow,
of course they were, man.
I didn't see that.
Of course they were.
The thing with MBG, just the other day he talked about against exclusives. Then he gonna turn and talk about the next day about Sony exclusives about Spider-Man.
No. Yeah, first, you should see the other stuff you put out there. Oh man, what if Resident Evil 4 was exclusive? Silent Hill 2's exclusive. Oh my god, the next Metal Gear is gonna be exclusive. So Sony should buy Take-Two in response to Activision. It's just so weird how they only hate it when Xbox does it, and it's so blatant, man. But it's hilarious. But with that, everybody, keep enjoying gaming. Keep the positivity, keep the love, man, because it's been so fun. It's been so fun, Xbox fans. We deserve it. So everybody, enjoy the rest of y'all week. After this impromptu and limited production, I'm probably going to enjoy the rest of the week unless there's some major news. So everybody, enjoy the week, and we are out.